What would happen if you have 20,000 steps per day for a month, or not even for a month, but for, let's say, 10 years? How fit would you be if you consistently take 15 to 20,000 steps per day? So this video will provide the answer, and I'm sure you will be surprised. Luckily, there's some people who have been doing those steps for years and years. For example, cleaners. In their work, they walk all day, usually 7 to 8 hours per day. And luckily, there's some research that has been done with the cleaners. So let's have a call to Professor Andreas Holtermann, who has been doing research related to physical activity done during work time and during leisure time. And he has over 300 scientific publications, so I think he knows what he's talking about. So let's have a call with him. Hi Andreas, I'm making a YouTube video and I would need your expertise once again. Do you have some time?
Olli.
Okay, great. So you have done some research with the cleaners. Could you tell us what did you find about their steps and their fitness level?
I posed exactly the same question to myself when I started as a postdoc in Copenhagen. So my task was then to figure out how can it be that workers in occupational groups like cleaners, we started out with the cleaners, how can it be that they are so unfit, they have so many health issues when they are being so highly physically active? And we started out to do measurements on their physical activity during work, and we found out that, well, some of those, particularly those cleaning hospitals, they were actually walking 15 to 20,000 steps per day. But their fitness level was much worse than for any occupational group, particularly office workers and other groups who are doing much less degree of physical activity. I found it very fascinating because this group of cleaners, they were not drinking, they were not smoking. How can it be that they are not in very good shape and fitness and health? What we found out then was, first of all, the dose was very, very different. They were often walking or doing some kind of work tasks for 7-8 hours. Compared to leisure time, normally it's 30 minutes, 1 hour, 90 minutes if you're playing soccer, but not 8 hours. That was one thing. The other thing that it was very low monotonous intensity. So the heart rate doesn't really come up to a level which we know is necessary to improve fitness. And we also could see that they had very short periods of breaks and rest periods compared to leisure time, where we normally see, if you're going for a run or playing soccer or basketball or something like that, you have higher levels, right, of heart rate. So you get your heart rate up, you get the fitness benefit, and you often also have the breaks necessary, right, to recover.
Yeah, thanks Andres, that was great help. So, like we heard, you can have 100,000 steps per week, every week, and still have a lower fitness level than people who work in office and have less than 5,000 steps per day. So, it comes mainly to intensity and recovery. For steps to improve fitness, they need to be intensive enough, and you also need to recover. You can just not load your body all the time. So for fitness improvements, heart rate needs to go up. It's not enough if you just keep taking the steps. Of course, if you are really unfit and are sedentary, that might improve your fitness, but when you get to a certain level, it won't improve your fitness anymore. And like noticed in this case, even with 20,000 steps, you might be pretty unfit still. You might be interested, here's a link to my other video related to 10,000 steps, where I'm telling that it's not about the number of the steps, but it's more about intensity and also about timing. So check it out if you're interested. And now you might be wondering that how come all the research studies show that physical activity is beneficial for your health and improves your fitness. There's a selection bias in these studies, as majority of research participants are actually white collar workers and are not doing physical work. So the case for blue collar workers is different. And before we finish, if you find value in this content, could you click like and subscribe? It would help me a great deal. In another video, I will find out with Professor Andreas Holtermann whether you should exercise if you have a physical job. And the conclusion is surprising, so I recommend checking it out. Thanks for watching and have a great day. What would happen if you have 20, well, not even months, but even 10 years? 15 to 20,000 steps. And before we finish, if you find value in this context, could you click? And before we finish, and before we finish, if you find value in this context, or even 10 years, it's horrible.